Long before the winds of peace swept across Waziwa, the land groaned under the heels of ruthless kings. Blood had paved the roads, and fear had ruled the hearts. But then came one ruler who broke the mold, Baraka I, a man wiser than his years. He sought the counsel of the ancient seers, and together they sealed a sacred pact. At its heart, the Heart of Waziwa, a powerful relic, pulsing with life, hidden deep within the temple. As long as the heart remained untouched, the kingdom would not fall. But the old ones warned. A time would come when Waziwa's blood would betray itself. And in the silence of that betrayal, the heart would vanish. Now, the whispers of that prophecy stir once more. As the sun dipped behind the silver hills, golden light spilled over the capital's rooftops. Lanterns lit up one by one, and drums echoed across the royal courtyard. The people had gathered for a grand celebration, Prince Kato's 18th birthday. Laughter flowed like wine. But high above, in the Tower of Silence, King Baraka stood alone, staring at the horizon. In his trembling hands, an old scroll. Sealed. Forgotten. A prophecy unopened. Below, Kato smiled and danced, his eyes shining with the hope of youth, never knowing the weight creeping toward him. And in the crowd, cloaked in shadow, stood Makena. Her eyes shimmered faintly, touched by something more than memory. She watched. She waited. That night, Kato dreamed of fire. Of the throne, crumbling into ash. Of his father's voice, twisted and distant, whispering through smoke. One must fall, to save them all. Dawn shattered with a scream. The Heart of Waziwa was gone. Panic tore through the palace like a flood. Guards stormed every hall. Priests wept. Nobles whispered behind trembling fans. By noon, the masked council had named the suspect, the prince himself. They dragged Kato from his chambers. He didn't fight. Couldn't speak. Just stared in disbelief. But when night fell, a hand slipped him a torn piece of parchment beneath his food tray. Meet me in the ruins. By moonlight, Kato escaped the palace, robe made of sheets, hands blistered with desperation. In the shadows beyond the wall, Makena waited. They ran. Through alleys, past sleeping huts, beyond the reach of royal eyes. At last, they reached the ruins of Shwari. Time had swallowed the place whole, twisting vines, cracked stone, ancient carvings glowing faintly in the dark. There, Makena spoke her truth. She was the last of the seers. Her visions were no fantasy. And the heart's vanishing. Not theft, destiny. Beneath the palace, in a chamber lit by fire and secrets, the masked council gathered. 12 figures. 12 masks. 12 silences. King Baraka addressed them with cold authority. The kingdom must not break. But behind the masks, behind the measured words, treachery festered. One of them had betrayed the throne. And now, from within, Waziwa began to rot. Hunted like animals, Kato and Makena fled through ravines and over wind-swept plains. They followed clues, old text, faded glyphs, and uncovered the bitter truth: the heart had been stolen by a council member, a former ally of the king. In a cave high in the mountains, they were ambushed. Kato fought, bled, fell. Makena knelt beside him, hands glowing softly as she mended his wounds. Truth burns, she whispered, but it cleanses too. They reached the edge of the forbidden forest, where the wind speaks in riddles and no bird dares to sing. There, they found the oracle, a blind woman wrapped in time, her voice a cracked melody. She told them the truth. Makena carried the power to restore the heart or destroy it. But either path demanded sacrifice. Kato was torn. Return and reclaim a throne built on secrets. Or walk away and let a new world rise from ruin. The skies darkened. The palace burned. Civil war erupted. The traitor had unmasked himself, rallying half the kingdom to his cause. Kato returned, sword in hand, Makena at his side. Inside the throne room, father met son, not as king and prince, but as men bearing wounds. Baraka confessed. In his youth, he had broken the seer's trust, splintering their order, and cursing the kingdom's fate. He fell to his knees. Power or peace, he said. One will kill the other. In the sacred temple, beneath a broken sky, Makena stood before the shattered altar. The heart reappeared, pulsing with silent fury and hope. She reached for it. Her hands trembled. And in that moment, visions overwhelmed her. Fire. Blood. Children laughing. Cities reborn. She chose. The heart shattered. Its energy poured out, pure, cleansing, terrible. Across Waziwa, the flames stopped. Swords dropped. And the palace, once proud, crumbled into stillness. Years have passed. Waziwa is no longer ruled by kings. The people govern themselves now, guided by counsels, dreams, and memory. Makena disappeared, the legend whispered by fireside. Kato walks the highlands, crownless. At peace. He watches children play in free streets. He smiles. For the first time in its history, Waziwa is free. Not because it was ruled, but because it was believed in.